Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello everyone and welcome to Friday edition of Primetime Local News. We have Brittany on the couch today, filling in for both Gerard and Josh because Josh is at the big football game. Very exciting.
Battle of the Border City. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Battle of the Border City. We got Holy Rosary against the Comp. Big game every year, and lots of people are gonna be taking part in that game. So we'll have a look at that. Josh is actually on location for that, so very exciting. Do you have any predictions?
You know what? I want to vote for the Comp.
Okay.
I'm going to be on Team Comp tonight.
Okay, she's going Team Comp. Okay, well, we'll look at the game coming up very shortly, but first we're going to toss it over to Elise for a look at your news.
Awesome, thanks Michaela. This Orange Shirt Day, a powerful exercise was brought to the classroom at Bishop Lloyd Middle School as a different way to teach Canada's history. Our Brendan Collonge reports.
In return, you take very seriously your responsibility to take care of the land.
It started with trading items the way Indigenous nations used to. Students passed items to each other while learning Indigenous culture.
Respecting yourself is one of the most important things my culture has taught me.
Scrolls were read to cover different points in the story of Canada's colonization, while the blankets they stood on grew smaller.
According to the doctrine of discovery, nations that are not Christian cannot own land. The Indigenous peoples living on this land will be put under the power of Christian nations.
From the building of the railway to the residential school system, the activity taught students how Canada's history has impacted Indigenous people.
This offers a much larger opportunity for students to see it from a different perspective than they might have heard it before.
Put on by mentorship students from the high school, it allows them to learn through an experience they can feel.
All of our staff have gone through it, our board has gone through it. They've led opportunities for our community to have experienced the blanket exercise, and so we're just now bringing it into our middle schools.
Sometimes they get really emotional, and they're really impacted, and knowing I get to make an impact on the people listening, it's really nice.
It explores many painful parts of Canada's history that some students may not have known otherwise.
I'm glad that I got more experience with it and that I learned more about it.
I've always felt like it's very important because growing up I didn't get to learn about this in school.
The symbolic activity is a more interactive way to teach history and to increase dialogue.
And if these students go home and talk about it with their families, then that's awesome.
Brendan Collonge, Primetime Local News.
The political headliners are all making a stand in Border City in October. On October 20th, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe pulls into Lloydminster. And if that's not a big enough deal, on October 10th, some big names will be in town to toast former Ag Minister Jerry Ritz. Gerard Lempow gets the update from the organizers.
On October the 10th, we're going to start off approximately, open the doors at 5 o'clock. It'll be a walk-in appreciation event, shake hands, maybe get some pictures. I can tell you right now that one of the speakers will be Jason Kenney, leader of the United Conservative Party of Alberta, as we move forward in that area. Lisa Rayett, we're looking forward to her. One of Jerry's first acquaintances as he was preparing for Member of Parliament, Elvin Hermanson.
Ritz served for 20 years as the Member of Parliament for the Battleford's Lloydminster riding, and he held the portfolio of Federal Minister of Agriculture and on numerous occasions was away from his family promoting Canadian agriculture to the world. His appreciation function will be held at the Lloyd X.
To show the appreciation for all the work Jerry Ritz did for Battleford's Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, Canada, and as he promoted efforts across the world in making a better place for agriculture markets.
Billis is also on board for the welcome gala for Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe on October 20th.
And he'll bring a message of what Saskatchewan is all about, especially as he and Saskatchewan work to not have a carbon tax.
Moe is also keen to look at getting Western Canada resources like oil to tidewater.
He's going to tell us how Saskatchewan is going to move forward and be a leader and working with other provinces across Canada to be leaders also.
Tickets for the Scott Moe Gala are available from organizers and also through the Sask Party in Regina. Gerard Lempow, Primetime Local News.
And as Gender Equality Week wraps up, the conversation of gender barriers is fresh in people's minds. But as Brendan Collonge reports, gender diverse individuals often have many hardships.
Ever since I moved back to Lloyd, it's been quite difficult actually.
Dee Dee Quinney is a transgender woman who was born and raised in Lloydminster and finds it challenging to live here.
I find I face a lot of discrimination on a daily basis. I mean, I can't even walk down the mall without being like gawked at, or you know how you get people whispering and staring at you. And
when it comes to conversations of gender equality, she often feels excluded.
I find that me being transgendered, I kind of just get put in my own category, kind of like by myself. I'm not really with a group.
These feelings of being excluded or judged are not unique. Many gender diverse people face discrimination every day, which some say is due to a lack of understanding.
Many people still aren't sure about how to respect trans women. There's still a lot of issues around language.
Laura Budd is an education coordinator for Moose Jaw Pride, who tells us that gender diversity may be as common as having red hair.
Family supports are often missing, and personal supports are often start to get broken down when a person discloses their trans identity.
Coming out as trans can jeopardize your social support networks and leave you vulnerable to discrimination. And while Quinney was happy to find the LGBTQ+ society of Lloydminster online, she feels there's more work to be done to make the community more supportive.
I think people just like to sweep it under the rug, but you know, it's 2018. It's you know, it's time to just face up to things and just change.
Brendan Collins, Primetime Local News.
A lot of tails are wagging at the Lloydminster exhibition this weekend. 270 canines are being judged by their breed, standards, and their obedience. Brittany Matika has more.
The 31st annual Lloydminster Kennel and Obedience Show is underway at the Lloyd X grounds all weekend long. Organizer Shelley Zimmerman says there are 200 dogs competing to receive Best in Show and another 70 in obedience trials.
Lloydminster is a great place, of course, to visit. One of the great things about our show is that we're able to actually run 6 confirmation shows and 4 rally and 4 obedience trials.
Tracy Perry has been exhibiting Samoyeds for over 20 years. She competes her Russian sled dog in both confirmation and obedience trials.
I'm an all-weather breed. They're good in the winter, summer. We sled in the winter. They like to do summer sports. They're good at herding, sledding, obedience, confirmation, tracking, agility. They're kind of just an all-around breed.
Perry says she travels to shows across North America, and her passion for dog sport continues to keep her coming back year after year.
Commitment to your dog and to the sport, the level of training, that one-on-one with your dog, that both in the confirmation and the obedience ring. It's just that competitive and that the training, the dedication to the sport and to your dog. Doing it as a team, I guess.
Zimmerman says obedience classes no longer require dogs to be purebred, and anyone in the border city can reach out to the club to get involved.
The obedience is a great way to bond with your dog. It's a lot of fun, and we'd like to encourage more people to get out and start considering competing with their dogs.
The show is open to the public, but the club asks that you leave your own four-legged friends at home and just enjoy the dogs entered in the show. Brittany Matika, Primetime Local News.
A local hero has been honored in a new way here in the border city. Stanley Cup champion and Lashburn native Braden Holtby has been immortalized on the side of an overpass bridge on the east end of town. The artist of the mural is Jordan Ernest, and he said that he is proud to be doing something so big for the community, as well as painting somebody who has had tremendous sacrifices for his sport. You can see more of Ernest's artwork at his website, graffitisalad.com. And now we're going to go to Josh Ryan, who is at Holy Rosary High School.
Thank you very much. I'm here with assistant coach and offensive coordinator Dustin Falsher of the Holy Rosary Raiders. The biggest game of the football season in Wheatland Football League, both teams 3-0. How excited are you guys for this matchup?
Obviously it's a big game and the kids are excited. Not only is it a very good team we're playing, but it's that local rivalry. These kids know each other. They've grown up against each other. So this is for bragging rights for the next month or so here.
Absolutely. You guys have focused really hard on working on different aspects of the playbook, but specifically on offense. What's kind of the focus heading into tonight's game?
Well, we really like where we're at this point in the year. You know, we've got some big guys up front, and we've got an excellent running back in Nash Etson. And so, you know, we want to be aggressive and run the ball. There's no secret there. That's what we've kind of hung our hat on the last couple of years. And then, you know, we've got some receivers that can make some plays too, and our quarterback, Dante Tabacu, he's not afraid to throw the ball down the field either. So we're looking to, you know, maybe run the ball early and balance things out.
Now, Dante Tabacu, obviously in his second season as the starting quarterback, your head coach, Vince Orio, has said he's really grown in terms of being able to see the whole field. Does that help having those offensive weapons in the receiver positions now as he, you know, sees the game a little bit better than he used to?
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's getting better every game. You know, last year he was his first year ever playing quarterback. So, you know, he's making leaps and bounds each week. And now with the receivers we've got out wide, and he's able to make all the throws. So, it, you know, makes it tough on the defense. It stresses them. We stretch the field, and he can attack all 65 yards across the field.
Absolutely. Now, really quickly, obviously it's going to be a chilly one this evening. Anything you've told the boys to adjust to that cold weather?
Well, you know, we plan on playing late into November, so this still isn't too bad. You know, luckily we're accustomed to it. We've done this for a number of years, so you know, just make sure they got the right layers on, stay warm, but you have to be able to move. And then once game time starts, no one's going to be worried about temperature. They're just going to want to play football.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Coach, for stepping in here. We'll be back with more from Raider Bowl, but now let's check in with our weather.
All right, thank you, Josh. Currently sitting at 6 degrees here in the border city, and if you are taking in the football game, I'll have your game conditions in just a few moments here. There is a frost advisory currently in effect, and those clouds are going to be rolling in as we move into the evening. Here's our watches and warnings. As you can see, again, yet the whole screen is pretty much under that frost advisory. Pretty much Alberta into Saskatchewan. Up north is exempt for now, but unfortunately, yes, that frost is here. Let's take a look at our numbers. Currently in North Battleford, partly cloudy, 7 degrees. Winds coming out of the northwest. Overnight dropping to -2, and then you guys could see some snow flurry activity Sunday evening into Monday morning. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be a high of 3, partly cloudy as well. Northwest winds coming up to 17 kilometers an hour. Cold Lake, partly cloudy and sunshine, 7 degrees. Going to drop to an overnight low of -1, and there is a chance of some flurry activity overnight. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high of only 3 degrees. It's going to be a chilly weekend. Currently 6 degrees here. Winds coming out of the west-northwest could reach a little bit more or higher in winds, could reach up to 20 kilometers an hour. So do factor that in. It's going to feel chilly if you're taking in that football game. Going to an overnight low to -3, and then tomorrow only 3 degrees. Here is your game day conditions. It's going to be partly cloudy. And then when kickoff is at 6 o'clock, it's going to be only 4 degrees, and those winds are going to come in 20 kilometers an hour, and it's going to push the clouds in. So we are going to get that cloud cover rolling in shortly. 3 degrees tomorrow, -3 for your low. Sunday, 3 as well, but -7 for our low there. And then Monday, very cloudy, overcast, 4 degrees, -5 for your low. I'll have more details, including your 7-day forecast, a little bit later.
It's that time of year again. 4-H members are preparing for the year ahead. Gerard Lampow checks in with an excited member who will be exhibiting a sheep project this year.
I love the whole inclusive environment, so like no matter kind of what 4-H event you're at, everyone is willing to help each other out and include them and give each other tips. I love the friendships that you create from it, as well as all the life skills that you gain throughout.
17-year-old St. Jerome grade 12 student Ashley Cobier joined 4-H when she was 9. Overall, she's been raising sheep for 10 years. It's become more than just a 4-H project.
So we lamb in April, and then you give them all their immunizations and make sure they're healthy. You keep them for a couple months with their mom, and then we will wean them. And at that point, you pick your 4-H lambs and separate them, and you train them, wash them, get them ready for show. At the end of your 4-H year, you sell your market project and then keep your ewe lambs. And then after that, in the summer, they just graze in pasture. And then now getting them ready for winter, give them a little bit extra hay, or we'll give them some grain ration before they get bred.
There are challenges like illnesses to watch out for.
Some of them are simple, like orf is really common on our lambs. So we just give them salt blocks, and then as they lick the salt, it kind of clears up. For other illnesses, we just give them a needle.
Ashley is one of 4 ambassadors who represent 4-H in northeastern Alberta. Still, one of the biggest challenges is how attached 4-Hers get to their animals, knowing that they will be going to market.
I feel like most people don't realize how much of a pet that farm animals can be, especially within 4-H. You spend so much time with them, training them, walking them, washing them. So they definitely do become like your own little dog. I know my lamb this year followed me around as if it was a little puppy. So you definitely get attached to them.
And every year there's the difficulty of letting go. Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News.
Let's take a look at this week's ag prices.
City Center Auto Body is proud to offer the paintless dent removal system. This works by going behind the panel, working out small dents. Lloydminster's trusted auto body shop for over 35 years.
The Lloydminster Bobcats are in Camrose this weekend for the annual AJHL Showcase, which has all 16 teams in action over 3 days. The Bobcats started this afternoon against the Calgary Mustangs. They will continue tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. against the Canmore Eagles. The Bonnyville Pontiacs were also in Camrose for the showcase. They defeated the Olds Grizzlies 8-3 yesterday and took on Calgary Canucks earlier this afternoon. The Pontiacs are tied for the AJHL North Division lead. Lakeland's men's basketball team will host exhibition play tomorrow, starting at 4 p.m. against a senior men's teams from Edmonton. The games are a chance to integrate newcomers into the lineup, with several returning players returning from last year's silver medal-winning roster. A key for the team heading into the campaign is being able to maintain focus and intensity throughout each game, something they've struggled with in past years.
I felt we were pretty inconsistent. We had games where we had to lose by a wide margin, then come back the next day and then win by a wide margin. So I'm hoping this group is more consistent and string together some wins.
At any point in the game, we can always go on spurts and take the lead, but it's the matter of keeping the lead and focusing in and getting it done, you know?
For Tay Holiday and the returning core, training camp has been encouraging.
I won't say we're as good as we were last year, not yet, but coming into the season, I think we're ahead of where we started last season. So I feel like we'll do pretty good this year.
Thomas is particularly excited about the possibility of increased production from returners and the new additions like Abraham Murray, who played at Olds last year.
It's going to take some time to learn our system and learn how we play, but I think they'll really help as well.
Next weekend, the squad will continue preseason against the Briarcrest Clippers. The Wrestlers soccer teams are back on the road this weekend, both of which desperately need a victory. The women are coming off a 3-1 loss, while the men have lost by 1 goal in back-to-back games. The two teams take on the Ambrose Lions in Calgary tomorrow afternoon, then head back north to play Red Deer College on Sunday. And right now, let's take a look at see where Josh Ryan is out taking in the pre-game action.
Thanks very much. I am here with Brett Hotchkiss, the offensive coordinator for the Lloydminster Barons. Exciting night once again. The Barons and the Raiders, the most anticipated sporting event of the fall in town thus far. Undefeated season so far for you guys, and a couple of big wins against Tier 2 programs out of Edmonton and Grand Prairie. You guys have to be happy with the success your team has had thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the best start we've had, at least since I've been OCing. And we're very happy with the success, no doubt.
Now, as the offensive coordinator, you've had to deal with changes to the lineup, as you would every year. This year, Anton Amendrud stepping into the starting quarterback position, a couple of other new bodies. Tyler Merrilee's taking a big role. What has been the biggest focus for you as the coordinator?
Getting our athletes the ball. We got a lot of really talented guys, and it's surprising. It's more difficult than you think to find ways to get each one the ball within your system. So it's a great problem to have, and we're really happy, but that's actually been a challenge, believe it or not.
Yeah. And now it's that challenge you've been able to at least test out against opponents that are not quite at your skill level or physicality level. Obviously undefeated in league play thus far, fairly wide margin of points. Now against the Raiders, are you curious to see, or excited to see, I should say, how they fare against a bigger defense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good test for us, and you know, whatever happens will be a good learning experience as well. I think, you know, like I said, we have a lot of weapons, and we've been really successful in the pass game, which is really hard to do in high school football. So if we can pass against this team, and if we can handle the pressure and the guys up front, we'll be very happy with that, obviously.
Now, less than 30 seconds to go here. What are you looking for specifically out of this week in practice?
This week in practice, we just stress to do our job and not focus so much on what Holy does. It's just play to our ability and give our best effort. That's what we've really been focused on.
Welcome back, folks. In studio, we have Paul Amendrud, the president of Lloydminster Minor Football. It's a pleasure to have you in here, sir. Unfortunately, it hasn't been the best fall weather for this lovely sport, but we still have some really exciting stuff coming up, particularly with Rod Kirby Day on Saturday.
Yeah, we do. We're going to run that from 2 o'clock till about 9 o'clock on Saturday. And we'll have vendors there from our sponsors, silent auction items, all kinds of things to do other than watch football.
Yeah, well, although watching football will certainly be the main bit of it. Tell us just a little bit about kind of the history of Rod Kirby Day, because the event itself, before he unfortunately passed away, had been around for several years.
Yeah, we've been running the football day for the last, say, 10 years when Rod took over as president. And he really spearheaded the whole get everybody in, show them what football's all about, show them how much fun it is, not just for the kids, but for people involved. And that's kind of the basis behind the whole football day. And then just expanded all through the years and to where we're at now.
Awesome. Now, I know Rod obviously was sort of the godfather, if you want to call that, of Lloyd football in general in the area. Just kind of, can you put in words a little bit of what he meant to that community for both parents and kids?
He was a real hands-on leader for us. Did everything from getting the concession items to making sure all the kids had equipment, making sure refs were looked after, getting our buildings going. He really spearheaded most of where we are now, and we're just keeping it going for him.
And maybe describe then too just how much the sport has changed then. I mean, you've seen many more kids take part in it. You've had lots of athletes go on to play at the CIS level, well now the youth sports level, and just kind of talk about the evolution it's had, because it's been over 10 years now.
Well, from what we've noticed over time is that the kids are coming in at the Pee Wee level, playing in our Bantam as well, and then ending with our midget, and then off to high school as they go. But what we've seen is a gradual increase in skill that we haven't seen in years, and I grew up here, so. But yeah, it's really helped out all the kids become way better football players, better people. It's really exciting to see how they're all progressing now.
Absolutely. Is there any what kind of fundraising elements are involved with the day, if there are any?
Fundraising?
Yes.
Yeah. We do it through our silent auction, and all of our sponsors they're involved in with our fundraising, and we're just promoting all of our sponsors, and like I said, a few will have they got their own vendors out there, so there'll be a bunch of stuff going on.
Okay, and really quick to wrap this up for here, what teams are playing who, and what people can expect there?
At the Pee Wee level, we have our Pee Wee Colts and our Pee Wee Steelers. They're going to battle it out at 2 o'clock. And then at 5 o'clock, we'll have our Junior Red Dogs against Wainwright.
Okay, so that should be some exciting action to finish the day off with, and hopefully we won't get any snow on Saturday. But I'm sure it'll still be a fun atmosphere, and certainly a physical atmosphere nonetheless. And thanks again for coming in, Paul. Hope to see you folks out at Rod Kirby Day on Saturday.
Thanks.
Hey, what's going on? It's Pete Jackson from Boom 95.3. Here's what's happening in Cold Lake this weekend. Busy weekend here in the city of Cold Lake. On Saturday morning, a great event. It's the 3rd annual Ride for Refuge, and this is a big fundraiser for the Cold Lake Food Bank. They're looking to raise a bunch of money. There's a lot of people that are in need and need to utilize the food bank. So what they're doing, it's like we said, 3rd annual event. It's either going to be, you can do a 5K walk or run, or if you're a little bit more hardcore, you can get the bikes out and go a 10K bike ride, 25-kilometer bike ride, or 50-kilometer bike ride. And again, they're raising money for the Cold Lake Food Bank. Registration is at 8 o'clock. Race gets going at 9. They're going to be doing a lunch down at the Cold Lake Food Bank, which is also the Community Baptist Church. So that's going to be happening Saturday morning. For more information, you can go online, rideforrefuge.org. Also happening on Saturday, hockey season is back here in Cold Lake, in the Cold Lake Junior B Ice. They're going to be having their home opener up against the Vegreville Rangers. Puck drop is 7:30 at Imperial Oil Place. Cool thing they're doing before the game, because it is the home opener, is they're doing a bit of a tailgate party. So they're going to have some street hockey for the kids, some hot dogs, the barbecue fired up. Then you'll go inside, enjoy the hockey game at 7:30. And another cool thing, and I like this, is the 50-50 is going to be starting at $1,000 for that hockey game. If you've got an event you want featured on What's Happening, shoot me an email, pete@boom953.ca.
We're pleased to be joined today by former Lloydminster resident and actually former employee here at Newcap Television, Ron Carson in Saskatoon. Ron, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Ron, we're not going to talk about your time here in Lloydminster, because what you're doing now is so much more interesting. You're in Saskatoon and you've actually opened your own restaurant called Carson's Barbecue Smokehouse. Tell me a little bit about this venture.
It is a traditional Southern style barbecue place. We decided to open up because there wasn't very much going on in the market right now. You can't get brisket anywhere, so we're here to help solve that problem.
Now, I've had a chance to kind of look through your menu, and you have some really unique things too. There's a mac and cheese, there's a cheesecake. How do you come up with all these ideas?
I don't know, just from loving food. They're just kind of the things that we like to eat. We went down the YouTube the rabbit hole and just trying to find anything that we think's interesting and put it on the menu.
So can you tell me a little bit more about some of the things that you offer on your menu besides the mac and cheese and the cheesecake?
The mac and cheese, the smoked mac and cheese is awesome. So some of the things we do brisket, we do pulled pork, we do smoked chicken, we do back ribs, chicken quarters. For lunch, we have we have a few different types of sandwiches. We have our smoked beef dip, our smoked pastrami sandwich. Just a lot of different things to try and diversify our menu.
And now I just happened to see a post the other night that you are making basically like the Flintstones barbecue dino ribs, it looks like.
Yes,
can you tell me about that?
Super pumped about that. We have had a ton of people asking us when we're going to have beef ribs. One of our suppliers came to me and it's a new product they have. It's a dino beef rib. It's about, once everything's smoked, it's about 1.5 pounds worth of meat on a bone. And we're going to have a beef rib and football night. We're going to watch the Packers and the 49ers, and we're going to pack this place and sell a ton of beef ribs.
So tell me, Ron, how much work goes into going through this whole process? I've watched you through your renovations and finding a place and, you know, changing the menu and being there. Like, do you ever get a break, or has this been just more, I guess, a labor of love than anything?
Definitely a labor of love. It's just kind of something I wanted to do for a long time, and we've just been, you know, plugging away with it. You know, I don't really see time off as something that's needed. We're still building, we're still growing. You know, obviously, you know, we would like to have a bit of a break, but we will when we get there.
Okay, Ron, and for those who are heading to Saskatoon or who are in Saskatoon and would like to check this place out, where is Carson's Barbecue Smokehouse located?
We are in Sutherland, 821 Central. We're right across from the Sutherland. It's a really great neighborhood. Yeah, we're super pumped to be here.
All right, well, thank you, Ron, and I'm going to direct everybody to your Facebook page as well, because that's where you get a chance to see the photos that you post of all the delicious food, and makes me want to go there right now. So I'm hoping to get there in the future.
Self-promotion.
Yeah, that's right. We will go to Carson's Barbecue Smokehouse Facebook page. Just search it. I'm sure you can find it. And once again, they're in the Sutherland area in Saskatoon. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ron. Really appreciate talking to you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it, Stacey.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
We're pleased to be joined today by former Lloydminster resident and actually former employee here at Newcap Television, Ron Carson in Saskatoon. Ron, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Ron, we're not going to talk about your time here in Lloydminster, because what you're doing now is so much more interesting. You're in Saskatoon and you've actually opened your own restaurant called Carson's Barbecue Smokehouse. Tell me a little bit about this venture.
It is a traditional Southern style barbecue place. We decided to open up because there wasn't very much going on in the market right now. You know, you can't get brisket anywhere, so we're here to help solve that problem.
Now, I've had a chance to kind of look through your menu, and you have some really unique things too. There's a mac and cheese, there's a cheesecake. How do you come up with all these ideas?
I don't know, just from loving food. They're just kind of the things that we like to eat. You know, we went down the YouTube, the rabbit hole, and just trying to find anything that we think's interesting and put it on the menu.
So can you tell me a little bit more about some of the things that you offer on your menu, besides the mac and cheese and the cheesecake?
The mac and cheese, the smoked mac and cheese is awesome. So some of the things we do brisket, we do pulled pork, we do smoked chicken, we do back ribs, chicken quarters. For our lunch, we have we have a few different types of sandwiches. We have our smoked beef dip, our smoked pastrami sandwich. Just a lot of different things to try and diversify our menu.
And now I just happened to see a post the other night that you are making basically like the Flintstones barbecue dino ribs, it looks like.
Yes,
can you tell me about that?
Super pumped about that. We have had a ton of people asking us when we're going to have beef ribs. One of our suppliers came to me, and it's a new product they have. It's a dino beef rib. It's about, once everything's smoked, it's about 1.5 pounds worth of meat on a bone. And we're going to have a beef rib and football night. We're going to watch the Packers and the 49ers, and we're going to pack this place and sell a ton of beef ribs.
So tell me, Ron, how much work goes into going through this whole process? I've watched you through your renovations and finding a place and, you know, changing the menu and being there. Like, do you ever get a break, or has this been just more, I guess, a labor of love than anything?
Definitely a labor of love. It's just kind of something I wanted to do for a long time. And we've just been, you know, plugging away with it. You know, I don't really see time off as something that's needed. We're still building, we're still growing. You know, obviously, you know, we would like to have a bit of a break, but we will when we get there.
Okay, Ron, and for those who are heading to Saskatoon or who are in Saskatoon and would like to check this place out, where is Carson's Barbecue Smokehouse located?
We are in Sutherland, 821 Central. We're right across from the Sutherland. It's a really great neighborhood. Yeah, we're super pumped to be here.
All right, well, thank you, Ron, and I'm going to direct everybody to your Facebook page as well, because that's where you get a chance to see the photos that you post of all the delicious food and makes me want to go there right now. So I'm hoping to get there in the
Shameless
future.
self-promotion.
Yeah, that's right. We will go to Carson's Barbecue Smokehouse Facebook page. Just search it. I'm sure you can find it. And once again, they're in the Sutherland area in Saskatoon. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ron. Really appreciate talking to you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it, Stacey.
Back here at Raider Bowl, it's still a lead for the Barons, but the Raiders are finally on the board. I believe an incomplete pass there from Amundrud. 7-3 the score. The Raiders were able to score on a field goal just a few minutes ago. There's now 1:46 remaining in the first half. Grade 11 quarterback Anton Amundrud. You can really see what a young leader this athlete is and how he's starting to come into his own. Already made an impression last year, obviously, as a grade 10. He's now doing a nice job as a grade 11 athlete, and he is starting to warm up a little bit in this game. A couple of really nice passes that have gone for completions. But the Raiders offense is starting to gain ground on each drive as well. So this should be an exciting game. If you're at home and you love football, might as well come out and check it out. You can see plenty of other people here. For now, though, we're going to go back to the studio. This is my last out, and we'll check in one more look at our weather.
All right, taking another quick look at your 7-day forecast. Going to be a cloudy, overcast weekend into Monday. 3 degrees both Saturday and Sunday, dropping down to -7 overnight on Sunday. Monday, only a high of 4, and then a couple of 3s Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, we could actually see a chance of flurries there. Some models are showing that, so we will keep our eye on that as we move closer to Thursday. 5 degrees there, -5 for your low, and then 2 degrees on Friday next week. And all right, and we have chosen, I have right here the winner. I made the draw. So our winner of our very first pet of the day is Jenna Wayhill. She submitted this amazing photo of her cat Mojo, who's above the closet door there. So congratulations to Jenna. We still have 3 more weeks of giveaways though, so if you want to win, you can always send us your pet photo on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or by email. Just make sure you include your pet's name as well as yours for a chance to win. And then there you go. She won $50 to Pet Pad. Mojo's going to be a happy cat.
He definitely is. Get some treats, maybe some toys.
Ooh, maybe a Halloween costume.
Ooh, it is the season.
Yeah.
It is the season. I know I'm already looking for a Halloween costume.
Ooh, do you know what you're going to be?
Not yet. Not
Ooh.
sure. You got some suggestions?
No. I'm a last minute type of person. I'll get my Halloween costume on October 30th. Okay, well, congratulations to Jenna, and have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.
Thanks so much for joining us.